guys, welcome to my Ocean One and Then Some channel. We got an email today from Hagens Berman, and I think all of you are going to be familiar with this, but if you're not, I'm going to read the email very briefly and then explain what my questions were and go over that. So let's just jump right into it. Here's the email. It says, "Hello, we are writing to give you an update on your claims against Chase Bank related to your Fisker-Ocean purchases. We have been negotiating with Chase to see if these claims could be resolved prior to filing arbitrations. While Chase appeared to be interested at first, they ultimately were not reasonable." I would love to know what not reasonable looked like because, they were probably making an offer, I would think. Anyway, continuing with the email. "While negotiating with Chase, we were preparing to file arbitrations and will file approximately 300 on Monday, and the rest over the coming weeks. Now, it's my understanding that there's roughly 1,300 of us. It is certainly possible that Chase will become more reasonable after these claims are on file, but we will litigate them aggressively and as quickly as possible." Now, here's where the email started getting a little confusing for me. "While you have signed a retainer agreement with us, you have not yet provided important documents that we will need to pursue your interest. First, we need a copy of your contract with Chase Bank. This is an 8-page document entitled Promissory Note and Security Agreement. This contract contains the arbitration provision requiring you to bring your claims in arbitration rather than court, pages 6 and 7. The arbitration company, JAMS ADR, will not let us file your claim without a copy of this agreement. If you do not have this contract, you can request it from Chase. Please let us know if they do not provide this in a timely manner. Additionally, once we are on file, we will need copies of all your relevant documents in order to prove your case at the arbitration hearing. Pursuant to the arbitration rules, we will need to provide these documents to Chase within a couple of weeks of filing. Basically, we will need all correspondence documents between you and Fisker and you and Chase, including," and I'm not going to read all these, I'm just going to read a few and then I'm going to change gears here. "All marketing communication, a description of any problems you experienced, any documents or emails," and it goes on and, covers other things and even ends with any other documents that you think might be relevant. So let's break this down from my perspective. The first thing is, when I originally submitted my documents, I did not submit the Chase contract. Now, I had my buyer's order, but I did not in any way or could not find a Chase contract that was, an 8-page document. I had everything except that. Must have not have downloaded that, or maybe that wasn't a possibility. But anyway, I called Chase this morning, and I was actually able to get through to them, and I talked to a guy named Carlos. And I read Carlos, exactly what I just read to you guys, the part that it said that we would need. And he wasn't really familiar with this 8-page document, but he took good notes, and he assured me that I would receive everything within 3 to 5 business days. And so I even communicated with Chase Berman and let them know, I had contacted Chase, what time, the date, stuff like that. Now, where it got super confusing for me, because it wasn't clear in the email, it looked like, to me, we may need to upload these documents again. Now, if you're like me, you uploaded these months ago. So I actually reached out to Hagens Berman this morning after all of this, and I asked them for a definitive answer. Would we need to upload anything again? Now, if you're missing something, of course, we need to upload it. But my question was, everything that we had previously uploaded, do we need to upload that again? And here's the email that they sent me back. "No, you do not need to upload anything again. We just need to make sure that we give a copy of all relevant documents in your possession to Chase as part of the arbitration process. It will be an issue at the hearing if we don't. We also need everything you have in order to make the strongest case possible at the hearing. Thanks. And then this was from one of the representatives. I'm going to leave the name out. But that clears it up for me. Now, I would imagine some of you had the exact same question. Are they asking for these documents to be uploaded again? And they are not. So unless you were missing something now, if you were like me, you didn't have a copy of the Chase agreement. Now, maybe I simply didn't download that. I'm really not sure. I had my buyer's order. I had all of that. I just didn't have this Chase contract that mentions the arbitration clause. So hopefully I'll have that by the end of the week and I can upload that. So what are my final thoughts and what do I make of this? To me, this really means nothing. Nothing's really changed for me. I'm speaking personally for me. I didn't think Chase would roll over, and I don't think anybody else did either. I would really just like to know what Hagens-Berman thought was being unreasonable. I would love to know the details behind that, and we may eventually figure that out, and we may not. I did do just a little bit of digging on arbitration versus court, and if my findings mean anything, typically consumers do much better in arbitration than they do in court. So you can Google that yourself and get information for yourself, but really from what I found, it tended to be about an additional $10,000 to $12,000 if you go into arbitration versus court. So what does that mean? Heck, I don't know. We'll just have to see what they decide and how quickly this plays out. You guys know probably as much as I do. Some of you may know a lot more. I do stay in reasonable contact with one of the representatives at Hagens-Berman, and he's super responsive. He always responds back to me. Just such a great guy. I'm not going to mention his name. I don't think that's appropriate or that's fair. But I would love to know what Hagens-Berman's is actually pursuing. What are they going after? Because let's just talk for a moment, okay? We're just hashing things out in our brain. Does Hagens-Berman's think that we should get every penny back? Is that what they're going for? A full buyback? Do they expect some type of discount on top of that? Is that considered reasonable? Not reasonable? A big discount on top of that? If just assuming. If I were Chase, of course, I would want to pay as little as possible, and that's probably what they're going to try to do. Since this is going to arbitration, though, from what I found, this probably works in our favor in a great way. Now, you can do your own digging there and see what you guys find out. So drop me some comments, and let's just kind of talk about this and bounce around some ideas and see what you guys are coming up with. See if you know anything that I don't, and we can just share those ideas. So we're just going to have to stick together here. And on a side note, I started driving other vehicles. If you didn't catch that video, I drove a Tesla Model Y, and we're going to drive some other vehicles, a Kia EV6 and a Honda Prologue, and probably some others, but those are the very short list. Anyway, just wanted to give you guys an update because I felt like this was appropriate, and I felt like, hey Molly, and I felt like I had news that you guys could benefit from. So if you've already uploaded your documents, you do not need to upload anything else unless you have left something out, like the Chase contract, that they think is super relevant for that. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining in, and until next time.